Hello there, Itro here. Today I'm going to be doing a brief video covering my opinion on the new DLC Docklands for Anno 1800. Do I enjoy the DLC? Yes. Was the harbour system needed to be updated? Very much so. Has it been done perfectly? No, there are some things that could be done better, and hopefully they'll do some tweaks on some things to make the DLC much more balanced. There are some things at the moment that are very broken. So let's have a look at some of the basic low-level stuff that I really like. So previously you would have probably had a bunch of some of the old school piers down and a lot of harbour depots for increasing your storage capacity. And then on your coastline you would have had your coastline productions like fisheries and quartz. One of the big things they've added in, which is really useful, is the fact that the shoreline production buildings now don't actually have to be on a shoreline. You can place them anywhere in the harbour system, and we now have the ability to do S for streets, and we now have a quayside that works as a road. So you can actually have them placed out in the middle of the harbour system, and then you can have a road running across them and then linking that up to the central stores for the island. That is a fantastic update. As you can see, there is power that runs down here. So, the next thing we're going to be covering off is a positive and a negative. If we have a look at it at night mode, the new lighthouses that they've added in, we have two styles. We have the larger one and the smaller one here, which has a slightly less radius on the actual beam that projected out. And over here we have the buildings that are lit up, and they're all incandescent light, which is extremely orange. The fact that the buildings have electricity running to them, would have thought they would have had it as a slightly brighter light if they have electricity power to them, but electricity doesn't seem to affect it at all. It's just an incredibly orange glow on the windows, which for me personally is just something I don't like the look of. So, the actual building of the harbour system. For those that have the artistic eye among them, you're going to have a fantastic time here building your own custom harbours with lots of buildings and ornaments that you can place all around. They've given us quite a lot of options for placing ornaments and building up a pretty harbour system. And I like the fact that the more you do with the global trading system, gives you more options to actually place more modules. And the modules you'll get are a depot, which increases for me 100 tons of storage for each little block here. Now there is a little game that you have to be playing to making sure that they have access to open water and that it's not crossing over into other things. It's fairly straightforward and rudimentary, so it's all good on that front. We now have the piers, where we can have even more piers and we can layer and stack them around in multitude of different ways. You'll be able to have even more harbour systems out there and piers for access. The piers seem to be a lot quicker than the regular piers as well. I need to do exact timings on it, however that will be on a different video. We can also have repair cranes as well. Not sure why we need 9 repair cranes unless we are going to be going into heavy war, which is going to be great for setting up defences and repairing. Harbour Master's offices. Now, this is where you can actually put your Harbour Master items into the actual building over here. And we can put even more Harbour Master options down, and we have even more slots. So you can stack the modules quite heavy and have a lot of bonuses from the harbour system over here. Some say it's quite too powerful with the number of extra options you can have, but there are only certain things that will stack on top of each other, but it can be quite powerful with the right items in there. And again, this is something we're going to have to test. Loading wharfs reduces the loading time, and you can stack those as well. And then the exports is just how many extra trades you can actually do. So let's have a look at some of the options for the ornaments. So we have the lighthouses, and we have lots of little extra pieces that we can place around here, which for those that know what they're doing, which is not me, I'm not artistically inclined, you can design and lay out your harbour system in your own personal way and make it look very pretty, and you can also go for a walk around it as well in first person mode. So there are lots of options and lots of customizations out here, which is fantastic. More options is always good. So let's go for one of the first things that I was hoping for more from the DLC, and that's the new ship, the new fastest intercontinental ship out there. Or is it? I need to do exact testings on it, but it's not really. However, it does look very pretty. It has a shark on the front, and in night mode it has spotlights going on it, which is really nice. Like that. Well, really like the aesthetics of the DLC. So, the cargo ship. The standard one costs 3 influence points and has 6 slots and 2 item slots and a movement speed of 13 kilometers. The new one costs 6 points of influence, 6 slots, and only 1 item, and has a movement speed of 11. Now, when actually going intercontinental between the maps, I've done some tests just by eye on the stream, and yes, unloaded, unupgraded, the new ship will get to a destination about 20% quicker by the looks of it. When the ship is fully loaded, the new ship versus the cargo ship seems to only be about 10% quicker. Now, that's unupgraded. If we want to upgrade the new ship, we only have 1 slot available versus the 2 slots over here. So in theory, we could make this ship as quick as this one, maybe even quicker, and we would also have more options for more customizations, reducing loading times, a multitude of different things. The extra slot is super useful. Versus that one, we only have 1 option for upgrades, and it's definitely not quicker than an airship, and it might not even be quicker than a Great Eastern at transporting as well. So while it is a little bit quicker than the standard cargo ship, it costs twice the influence and doesn't have half of the upgrade windows available to it, and could, once upgraded the cargo ship, it could even be slower. Okay, so the global trade network. This is going to be an interesting one. So, in premise, it's a fantastic system where you're able to trade items for others every 20 minutes on each of your islands. Now, the UI needs some work. There is no real tutorial or explanation on things. It literally goes, you trade this for this. Pyramid system. Okay. So, how do things get up here? They seem to go up there by themselves. Or you can, once you've traded 1,000 of them, you can move them up to the starting area and start to have them level up. Doesn't tell you this anywhere really. And then how do we know when it can be upgraded? The more we trade on things down here, next export level here, 2,350. For it to level up, we can go to need 2,500. Or if you have a look, there is a very slight shading on the background of the image, which is extremely hard to see and very easy to miss. Like over here, that one is 2/3 the 3/4 the way full. It's very hard to see. And then this one is ready for upgrade. So why isn't it upgrading? Because there's no slots available. Okay, so we're gonna cancel that. And now we have to manually move it up. Again, doesn't tell us any time that we have to do this. We keep trading things. We had this down here and kept on trading on it. You would think it would automatically jump up. No, you have to manually move it up, and then it goes to grade 3. And now we have an exchange ratio of 1.4. So the more we trade of items, the better the ratio. The better the grade of item multiplies that ratio even higher on the ratio of items you can get. This is where it gets very broken. So we have a look here, 1.2, 1.4, 1.6 in the ratio, and then the top tier is a 2 times ratio. Now, this is rank 3, we can move it back down, and we can continue with the export update while it being at tier 4, and then once we've got the points we can upgrade to tier 2. We just have to drag it up there, and then it'll only get the bonus when we leave it in the actual tiers. It's a bit of a weird system that doesn't tell you about any of this. You just have to click around and figure things out as you go. There could have been a better way of explaining things, even tooltips that doesn't seem to go on here. It just could be better with an explanation. Now, this is a really nice system for early game. It gives you all the options to be able to start trading things for other items that you're struggling on. Like if you're early game and you're struggling to get the fur coats up for your artisans, you can start trading items for them. You can start trading your beer at a fairly low ratio and start getting in the fur coats. Heck, you can start farming the fur and then start trading the fur straight into fur coats, which is also a very viable option. Now, as we say, the more we start trading on things, the better the ratio. So, let's have a look. So, let's start to get into how this system can actually be abused and broken and extremely overpowered and needs some work. So, there's nothing stopping you going from this island over here and start trading fish for some random other product. Let's go with bread. So we start trading the fish for bread and we start ranking up over here and we get better ratios. We now have a cargo ship, one of our own, moving the bread that we've just exchanged to this island. And we set up a exchange system on this island. Each island has its own individual timer where items will start being traded. So now we can trade the bread that we just traded for something of a higher tier, canned food. And now we have another cargo ship that takes the canned food once that's done and takes it to this island. And we set up a harbour system on this one and we start trading the canned food up into penny farthings. And then, as you can guess, we would keep daisy chain this up and up and up and up and higher and higher and higher. And we just have a constant chain of things being upgraded from fish all the way up to steam engines. So let's have a look at where it gets completely broken. That is when you have a lot of production and high tier items. Specifically, the bigger ones are the advanced weapons, the steam carriages, and high tier items that you can get as extra goods and produce extra high volumes of. Things like penny farthings is another fantastic one. Some of the ratios on this are extremely broken, especially when you get it ranked up high. I mean, look at the advanced weapons. I'm getting pretty much all my advanced weapons through passive trade through the Harbour Master items, which we have an abundance of slots on now, and produce them as extra goods from production. And we can start exchanging items. So let's have a look at this. The advanced cannons at rank 1. 2,000 of them would be 34,000 pearls. Okay. And then 500 would be 1,700 gold rings. They're slow and pain to make. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. 500 advanced weapons for 59,000 tons of wood. That's an extreme one, I know, but it just shows the ratios is silly. And then look, the boots for the scholars, which you're going to have a lot of. 500 for 5,281. That's an insane ratios. And the best one is this isn't even the highest tier item. Technically, the steam carriages are the most high tier item in the game. So if we have a look at this, and remember this is only rank 2, so it's not at the full ratio. 500 is now 8,160 boots. That would go up to probably about 9,000 at least when it goes up to tier 1 and start utilizing it. So why do I ever need to make boots ever again? I can just have an island just making steam carriages and getting in advanced weapons as byproducts and passive trade, and start just farming everything through those items. So now you don't need any production on your islands, and you just have islands with people on it, and you're only producing carriages and advanced weapons and penny farthings, which you can double stack trade unions and double bonus goods out from certain production lines. Once you start going into the high tiers and high numbers, it gets quite silly, and it really needs adjusting. Something needs to change with some of these ratios, or how often it can be done for the high tier items. I'm not exactly sure what, but if it stays like this is kind of silly, to be fair. Now, if this is preparations for the next 2 DLCs, the tourism and the high life, we're going to get skyscrapers as well. If that's going to be their reasoning behind it, that we are going to need insane amounts of production for the huge population increase and extra people coming in tourism, and this is the way that we're going to get around it, just by getting rid of all the production and start trading everything in. I'm not too sure what I think on that. We'll have to see, but just making steam carriages and trading everything is very possible and very cheap and very simple to do, and you'll be drowning in resources extremely quickly. So, overview. Do I enjoy the DLC? Yes, very much so. I love the new options we have with the Harbour system and making things look pretty, which I'm terrible at doing. I enjoy placing things down. I enjoy just messing around with some of the low tier starter stuff. It's really interesting and really good. The new ship is a bit lackluster. We'll have to do more testing on it. The tutorial, or lack of, is a bit hit and miss, and the UI could do with some extra tweaks. And the ratios or something needs to be done for these high tier items, otherwise this is just game breakingly broken. Many people are just like, this is silly. It needs to be adjusted, but that is a simple adjustment. Ratios or something like that could fix a lot of the problems. Everything else is pretty good. I really enjoy it. Especially when you start messing around and having things at night time and you just have all these lights flying off. So yeah, hopefully they take on the feedback and make some slight tweaks on ratios and make what is a good DLC into a much better DLC and make it less broken. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. There will be more in-depth details on this. This is just a very quick overview of all the aspects. I need to do more testings and timings and whatnot. If you do enjoy the video, do appreciate any likes and subscriptions on the video and channel, and comment down below if there's another video you'd like me to do next. Take care, catch you on the next one.